kiddos, good morning. So we are now going into part 2 of Jesus Dies on the Cross. Okay, so yesterday we talked about how Jesus was coming into the city of Jerusalem, right? And was he happy with things? No. Okay, so now we're going to continue on with the story. Okay, so a few days later, Jesus and his disciples hurried outside the city gates. They had just had supper together, and Jesus had told the disciples that soon Jesus would be taken from them. He told them that he would die, and then he would be raised from the dead 3 days later. So how many days? 3. Very good. The disciples did not understand all that was to happen. As they left the city, Jesus led the way into the grove of olive trees. It was quiet and peaceful there. Jesus asked most of the disciples to stay there and pray. He asked Peter, James, and John to come further into the grove of trees with him. Then Jesus asked them to pray while he went further into the trees. Peter, James, and John watched as Jesus prayed. They heard Jesus tell the Father, "Not my will, but yours be done." So what is Jesus saying there? Whose will is it to be done, right? Who is in control? God is in control, right? Okay, so Jesus knows that, right? It's not me, it's you, okay? So then the disciples fell asleep while Jesus was still praying. Soon Jesus woke them and asked them to watch and pray with him. They began to pray, but once more they fell asleep. When they opened their eyes again, soldiers had come into the grove of trees. While the disciples watched, the soldiers took Jesus prisoner and led him back down the road into the city. The soldiers took Jesus straight to the house of the highest priest and questioned him all night long. So was Jesus surprised by everything that was happening? No. Remember, he already told his disciples that he would die. But what was going to happen? He would be raised from the dead how many days later? 3. Good job. Okay. So during the night, Jesus was beaten and mocked. Does anybody know what mocked mean? Ooh, that's kind of a big, hard word. So what it means to be mocked is when you make fun of somebody. So when they're mocking them, they're making fun of Jesus. Okay? The soldiers spit on him and treated him cruelly. The next day, the soldiers took Jesus out of the city to the place of death. There they hung Jesus on the cross and waited for him to die. Some of Jesus' friends were there to watch. They cried as they watched, but Jesus looked at them kindly and said kind words. He asked God to forgive those who had treated him badly. So here Jesus is being treated terribly, right? Awful. But it's the one thing he's doing. He is asking God to forgive, not him, to forgive the people who are treating him badly. That just shows who Jesus and God are, right? Jesus is sitting there miserable, dying because they're not treating him nicely, but instead of thinking about himself, he's thinking about everybody else, right? Oh my goodness, just so amazing. Then a great darkness came over the land. The darkness lasted for, guess what? 3 hours. It was during this time that Jesus died. Then Jesus' body was taken down from the cross and placed in a tomb. A great stone was placed in front of the tomb where Jesus lay, and soldiers were placed outside to guard the tomb. The soldiers wanted to make sure no one came to steal the body of Jesus. Do you remember what Jesus had told his disciples the night before? Do you remember? He had told them that he would have to die. But what else did Jesus tell them that would happen? Jesus had said that after 3 days, how many days? 3. Remember our song? 1, 2, 3. He would rise from the dead. Our next Bible story will show us exactly how that came true. So, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed our Bible lesson this week. Practice your songs, practice your pages, and when we meet again next time, we will talk about how the story of Jesus rising from the dead came true. Okay? All right. Love you guys. Bye.